Hey, book besties. Welcome to More Than a Book Club podcast. I'm your host, Leyna.
And I'm your other host, LJ. And today is a big episode again, like last week's. Last week was our 50th, but what is today, Leyna?
Let's see if I can get this right. It is our anniversary episode, 1 year.
It's our 1 year anniversary episode. A year ago, this week, we published our first podcast episode ever.
And we have grown by leaps and bounds. If y'all want to go back and listen to that first episode, you can literally hear the dog that I had just gotten because I found her like that week.
Yep.
Playing with a toy in the background. Like we weren't using microphones. I don't think we were using, we've grown, people.
We've learned a few things.
A few tricks here and there.
And we've changed platforms that we record on.
Yes.
So, yeah. But we have to point something out. We are wearing our podcast shirts so that you can see we're twinning today. Woo!
We'll have to take a picture of them.
I know we do.
In our shirts at some point.
We will.
Yeah.
We definitely will. So, yeah, so it's our 1 year anniversary. And before we get started on our episode today, which is going to be our Literary Lately episode, let's do some reminders, Leyna, for what's happening.
So as a note, first and foremost, go subscribe to our podcast. If you're listening and you're not subscribed, just go do it. It automatically comes to you then. It's awesome. It's easy to do. Subscribe, review, and rate us. That's awesome to do. We're also on Instagram, TikTok. I think we have a Facebook. Do we have a Facebook?
We do. Our Instagram goes straight to Facebook, though.
I'm LJ handles that. So if you're on there and it's a post, it's LJ usually. If it's a bad post, it's me.
No, stop it. Stop it. But yeah, those are there.
I'll randomly try to do stuff and be like, I don't know if I did this right.
She does it right. But
I comment.
She does comment, and she's better at reading our messages than I am. So that's just the reality. But we also have some stuff coming up. First of all,
yes,
you will notice, yes, this episode is Literary Lately, but that's going to be an episode once a month from here on out. And then we are taking the month of December off from publishing podcast episodes. We actually are not taking the time off. It'll just be stuff happening behind the scenes as we prepare for 2026.
And we are going to be having a lot of fun things coming down the pike in 2026. It's very exciting. I think y'all are really going to like it. It's fun and new things for us and for y'all. So put a little teaser out there for that because it will require a little bit of work on our end, which is why we're taking that month. And it's just December. December is the super busy month anyway. So
yes.
You can catch up on all of our episodes because that's another thing that we've heard is that our episodes can sometimes run a little long and sometimes it's hard to listen to all of it. So this will give you some time to catch up, get back to where, we are, and you'll be able to start season 2 with us. 26 will be our, it'll be a couple episodes into season 2 because technically the next episode will be season 2.
Yes. That is true. But anyway, so we have that coming. We're very excited. And we've listened to feedback from people and know that we're listening and taking suggestions. And we're going to work all that into 2026, which includes, like you said, shorter episodes. So on that note, unless you have anything else, we should get into Literary Lately.
And this is one of our favorite topics. So we're very happy to hear that y'all enjoy it. And that we should make it a standalone episode just because we get to talk more about the books, which I think is awesome.
I agree.
How many books have you read so far this year, LJ?
I
saw it in your notes.
Yes. At this point, I am now at 92 books.
Nice.
Yes. And what are you at?
At 117. This is the most I've ever read in a year. It feels wild.
I think you've read 11 books since we last did an update.
Possibly.
I think there's
a couple of books in here that were really good that I'm very excited to talk about that I read very quickly. One of them was an arc, which I think you're currently reading.
I am, so we can't say much. But one of the things, just trailer for next year, we're going to try to read more current books and do episodes on books right after they come out. And so we both got an arc, and it doesn't come out till April. So we'll We'll have to have an
We can
episode in April
tease it
about it.
really well.
Yes. But you
'Cause
can't
it's
say
really good.
much because you cannot spoil it for me.
I will not, I
I
promise.
know, I know. Oh, you're at 117, I'm at 92. Okay, what is one of the books that you've read since we last did Literary Lately?
Queen of Shadows. So I'm
Yes.
continuing my Throne of Glass journey,
Mhm.
and that one, I think that's the most recent one that I've read.
Okay, because you haven't
I
been
think
reading.
I have not been I read, like, 3 of them, 4 of them back to back to back, and then I was like, "Okay, I need a break." I had books for book clubs that I had to finish,
Yes, you did.
but I am still very much enjoying it. I still wanna see what happens next. I will say Queen of Shadows tied it up a little bit, so it does leave you in a nice spot to where you're like, "Okay, things are happening." You can see that there's gonna
Mhm.
be evolution and movement, but it kind of felt like a little bit of a conclusion too, and maybe that's why it felt like a good place to stop for a little bit because it wasn't that cliffhanger ending.
Right. Because it's the next one is Empire of Storms,
Yes.
and it will have quite the cliffhanger.
And
Spoiler
I was
alert.
anticipating that, and I'm like, "Okay, I need to read these other books before I get
Yes,
carried away."
that's fair, yeah. Okay, well, my first one I mean, you're gonna have a lot more to say. Maybe you should do 2 books, because I'll tell you how many I have to talk about. I have 8 worth mentioning. What about you?
Okay.
How many do you
I
have?
have
17, 11?
looks like 10,
Okay, then
but I may
I'll
not have
go.
included intruders on here, so maybe it is 11.
Maybe
Yeah.
it is 11. Okay.
Okay.
So my first one that I finished since we last talked is The Moving Finger by Agatha Christie, and I thought I'm just gonna read the blurb because, I will mess it up otherwise. So, the placid village of Limestock seems the perfect place for Jerry Burton to recuperate from his accident under the care of his sister Joanna. But soon, a series of vicious poison pen letters destroys the village's quiet charm, eventually causing one recipient to commit suicide. The vicar, the doctor, the servants, all are on the verge of accusing one another when help arrives from an unexpected quarter. The vicar's house guest happens to be none other than Jane Marple. So, this is one where, again, I had like a top choice and I had 2 backups, and none of them were it. So, I was completely wrong, and yeah, which is I love when she stumps me. I only gave it 4
Mhm.
stars because I just wasn't one of my favorite ones of hers, but it did stump me, and something very strange about this book. This is Miss Marple number 3. She does not show up until, like, the last third or quarter of the book. Like, I forgot because I was reading it on my Kindle, so I wasn't always looking at the cover
The
saying a
cover.
Miss Marple, book, and I forgot it was a Miss Marple book until she showed up.
I remember you saying that, and that just seems like a weird thing for a book in a series
Right.
with the main character absent
I
until the very
know.
end.
Until the very end, but so it's what's funny is these vicious poison pen letters is that people are getting accused of salacious things in this
Mhm.
small town, and I don't know when this one was written. I should pay attention to that. So either way, we're imagining 30s, 40s. Well, this would be after
Mhm.
the war, I think. So late 40s, 50s, something like that, which makes it all the more
I think
salacious.
I only notice whenever they're written because I'm like, "I don't like this one," and then I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, it was written before this time," and then I'm like, "Oh, I like this one." It was written after I think it's usually after 1940 is whenever I like
The
the
ones
book.
you like, yeah.
Mhm.
It was enjoyable. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars,
Yeah.
and she did stump me, so good job,
Say I
Agatha.
read The Crooked House, which I think you had already read, and this was our book club book for October. We always do Agatha-tober.
Mhm,
I knew I was gonna like it by the first 5%. Like, just
mhm.
reading it, I'm like, "This is gonna be an Agatha Christie book that I like." And I did guess the culprit correctly. I was
You
very proud of
did!
myself.
I'm
As
impressed, Lena.
as soon as that character was introduced, I'm like, "I have a feeling that they did it."
That's crazy. Well,
And and then
I'm
certain
very
things I was
impressed.
like, "This seems Yeah, I don't want to give anything away because
No,
it was a good book. Agatha Christie is famous for a reason. She can write a good book. And this was, some people have said it was like her best book.
it's one of her favorites that she listed
Hmm.
before she died is one of her favorites to write. So, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I'm very impressed that you got that one. We need to have you read After the Funeral, which is another one that stumped me and Emily.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do that one next year.
That sounds like a good idea.
Anyway, so is that one that was one you just finished, right?
And so, in that same Halloween-y theme,
Mhm.
because that was, it's kind of fall vibes,
Yes.
my neighbor books book club read The Buffalo Hunter, which is Stephen Graham Jones. I had no idea that he has written like 35 books. I knew The Only Good Indian, and
I've never
it's been on my
heard of that.
TBR. I've never read it, but it's horror, which that's usually not my genre. But
Nope.
The Buffalo Hunter, it was fascinating because it starts out, I want to say it's post Civil War, the westward expansion, and it's a Pagani Native American, and then he's talking to um, a pastor at a church. And so this is kind of like him talking. And this was so cool because the Pagani Native American is a vampire.
That's so cool.
And this was such a unique take on vampires. It was crazy. And also, you have the history of everything. They talk about a massacre that occurred, and it's like a real thing. These are the Blackfoot tribe. So it was a real massacre that occurred the main character, it was one of his family members that was part of that clan, and it moved you. There were certain parts where I was like, this is kind of slow, and it was a little bit slow to get through. But then the way that those slow parts, it it kind of went into like a bigger theme, and you're like, oh my God, like your mind was blown from reading it. I struggled with what to rate this. I think I'm going to rate it a 4-star
Okay.
because I went back and forth because I was like, the slow parts were really slow.
Mhm.
But then once it picked up, I was like, yes.
I
So,
hate when it's like, what do I give it? I mean, it's on Storygraph, you can give it a half star.
yeah. And I was like, I don't even know if it's a matter of half stars or quarter stars. Some of it was 3, some of it was a 5.
Gotcha. So 4 might be best. Which, by the way, if you're watching and you're like, "What is LJ doing? She's not even paying attention." Yes, I am. I take notes. I take notes when she talks about books. I do. So if I'm looking down and it looks like I'm not engaged, I'm probably writing something in my notebook. So just know.
But that was a really good fall vibes book. I
No.
don't generally read horror, so
Nope, you
I
don't.
read a lot more this month than
Than you normally would.
yeah, so that was kind of a bonus.
Okay. Well, the next one that I finished was the audiobook She Kills, the Murderous Socialite, the Cross-Dressing Bank Robber, and Other True Crime Tales by Skip Hollandsworth, which
Okay.
he will be at the Texas Book Festival. And you guys, y'all aren't going to believe this. We're actually considering not going to R.L. Stein, who we were so excited about, but we're also excited about other things. We like him because we grew up with him.
Hmm.
And we get it. So have other people are still growing up with him, and it
My
isn't.
kids grew up with it. Your kids grew up with
Yes,
them, and
absolutely.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
I want to go to 90s R.L. Stein, not
If we could
not
go back
the
in time.
right. I don't want to go to 2025 R.L. Stein. But it's tough, you guys. The problems of people going to Texas Book Festival. But anyway,
Yes.
back to this book. It is really good. It's nice to read local true crime. When I first
Hmm.
mentioned it a couple episodes ago, I talked about how, there are obviously big true crime here. First we had JFK, we've had David Koresh, we've had what else? Oh, Bonnie and Clyde, we mentioned them. So there have
Hmm.
been bigger things here,
Historic. Yeah.
historic things. But this was really interesting. This one, like, I would listen to this just to hear about the cross-dressing bank robber, which I had listened to, I think, this exact same production when I listened to a Texas Monthly compilation of 4 true crime articles into an audiobook, and that was one of them, and
Mhm,
since this he also wrote for Texas Monthly, I think it's the same exact one, but the fact that we had this cross-dressing bank robber in DFW, and I had never heard of this person until this year, and probably you neither, Lena, right?
mm-mm.
I mean, this is and it's amazing, like, this woman got away with it for so long and probably could have gotten away with it for longer. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's not a super scary one. If you think about it, you're reading an article, in a magazine, it's being read to you.
Mhm.
So it's not super scary, this one, and not all of them are murder. Like, she was a bank robber, she didn't kill anyone. So I really enjoyed that. And before we move on from true crime, I just want to give a shout out to my current documentary that I'm watching slowly. It's the one about Eileen Warnos, which was the
Oh, I wanted to
serial
see that. I
killer.
saw it on Netflix,
Netflix.
right? Yeah.
Yes. So I'm watching it in chunks. But
Mhm.
and I recently finally watched the Murdoch murders, the 6 episodes about that. There's
Yeah.
2 seasons, but each one has 3 episodes. And I guess the second season picked up where after they'd had the trial, because the first one, there hadn't been a trial yet. And that is fascinating. So
Mhm.
that's my latest with my true crime fascination. All right.
All right.
Next for
So
you.
I'm gonna go through, let's see here. I read Two Can Play, which is more of a novella by Ali Hazelwood.
Oh, is that one of the ones in the the
So
fall compilation or romance compilation
it's
or something?
only in audio. So
Oh,
I
never
think
mind.
that it might have been like an Audible thing or a Spotify thing. I can't even remember what it was, but it's only an Audible. It's gonna be published, I think, later on.
Ooh.
I'm real hit or miss with Ali Hazelwood, and this was a miss. I
Oh,
feel like she is the Frida McFadden of the romance world because she's
yes.
written some just stellar books, but then also just some that just don't resonate with me. And
Yeah.
this one started out good. Like I was like, okay, I like the idea. I like how this is going. And then it just kind of veered into some implausible, like one of the people asks out the main character right after a really bad job interview. And I'm like, that's not something that didn't go with his character,
Yeah.
like where he's very kind and compassionate and caring and professional. And then he asks out someone after a job interview. That just had a bunch of ick to me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, no.
Yeah, no.
Um, so there was a couple of things in there that I was like, I don't know if I can get past that. So it was not my favorite, but I did follow it up with a nonfiction book, which is also not something I generally read. I read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, and this one has been on my TBR for like a year because
I think me too. I
it
have
was
it.
everywhere a year ago or so. And I finally listened to it and I'm like, I see why this was popular. It had some really good takeaways in it. And I think it's things that were presented differently because I know, boundary setting and her big thing is let them do their thing and let you do your like let
Mhm.
them let me, but it was definitely worth a read. I think that I've read some other nonfiction books this year that I was like, I could have done without that. I could have had the Cliff's Notes version and been totally
Yeah.
fine, but this one actually, it felt empowering. It felt like, okay, there's things that I want to do in my life. Why am I not doing them? What's holding me back? Am I going to be judged? Probably, but let me do what I want to do for me. It was very empowering. It kind of prompted me to be like, hey, let's do some stuff with the podcast.
Which
If
I
I'm being
love.
honest.
I love
So
it.
it was one of those things where it's like, what can we do to improve? And not only that, but not just with business or a podcast, but in your personal life and your
Mhm.
professional life, different things like that. So those, you know, I had kind of a bummer book that didn't work out very well, and then one that followed, like, I was just like, yes, this is what it's all about. Very motivational,
Mhm.
very much enjoyed it.
I love that. I love both, like, hearing that about I mean, obviously, I prefer to know if something's not worth my read, so sorry, Allie
Yes.
Hazelwood. Although, at the end of our last episode before we say goodbye for a month, or a little over a month, is actually gonna be Mate, which I'm very excited to
And
read
I
that.
loved Bride,
Yes,
and
so
I've heard that Mate is also very good. So
I
I'm
sure
like
hope so.
cautiously optimistic.
Well, I'm gonna kinda combine 2 books because I read them at the same time,
Okay.
and that is Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. And I think why it works so well for me to tandem read them. Now, the first time I think, and I told Lena this, you got to have the full experience. You've got to read Empire of Storms, have the cliffhanger, and then have to read an 800
Wait.
page book. You have to read an 800-page book before you get to pick up where it left off at the end of book 5. So, what I think works once you've done that, I get what I call fantasy fatigue. If there is too much action without like some downtime, I kind of have to walk away from fantasy for a while. And I got very stressed the first time I read this series. I got very stressed when I first read ACOTAR. I did not feel the same with the Crescent City series, and I don't know why that is. I guess she spaced out. She put enough, like, it wasn't just boom, 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 boom. It
Yeah.
was like at the end when you want it to be.
Mhm.
It was it flowed nicely.
She kind of dropped you into the middle of a world
It's
and was
true.
like,
It's
figure it
true.
out.
Yeah,
Like, I still have beef about that, but
I know. It was so hard to understand. But with these, I think because Empire of Storms is action packed
Mhm.
basically from the beginning. And Tower of Dawn, it's a lot happens in Tower of Dawn, but it's not as intense. And I was really mad to read Tower of Dawn the first time because it focuses on the quote unquote less popular characters at
Okay.
that point in the series. And the thing is though, each time I read Tower of Dawn, I like it more. And so it was really good for me to be able to go back and forth and read a little of this one or a little bit of that one. And again, I'm going to say something that most Throne of Glass people probably are going to be yelling if they are listening to this. I think I like Tower of Dawn better than Empire
Mm.
of Storms. And I'm I think my favorites of the series are going to go like 3, 4, 6, which is crazy. But anyway, it's fine. But I read both those and finished you finish Empire Storms first,
Mhm.
and then you finish Tower of Dawn. So when I finished Empire Storms, I was like, okay, we're gonna wait till tomorrow to finish Tower of Dawn. So I did. But that's crazy to me because basically I read 1,600 pages because if you think about
Yeah,
that,
that's
they're
a
each about
lot.
it's a lot. And I did not pick up Kingdom of Ash in audiobook form. I've been listening to
Okay.
it until like I took like a week off.
Yeah. And if someone wanted to tandem read those books, they can find like a reading guide online. Is that how you did it? Okay.
That is, let me see the name of the guy because there are a few different ones, but the most
Mhm.
popular one, I believe it's like TL or something like that. TL Branson. Like
Okay.
yeah, TL Branson. And I recommend that one.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be I'm not going to tandem read, but I do hope to start doing those soon again.
And I told her on our road trip, I will
Yes.
gladly
I
listen
think
to it.
I think I was actually saving
But you know
Empire.
what we have to do first is I'm making Lena listen to the entire new Taylor Swift
Taylor
album.
Swift. Let's bring it.
We're gonna get some reaction, so like, maybe by the
That'll get
time
us
that
through like Dallas traffic.
Yep. I mean, yeah, 42 minutes, definitely,
Yes.
if we're
It'll be
lucky.
perfect.
Alright, what about you? What's your next book?
Okay, so then I read one that you've already read, The Intruders by Frida McFadden.
Oh, yes.
I did enjoy that, and it was such a good twist that I did
Mhm,
not see coming that I was like, wow.
mhm,
So I see why you liked that. I see why you said it was one not to miss.
mhm,
I've only read a few of her books, so I'm not as well versed,
mm.
but I did enjoy it. There was a couple of times that I'm like, the writing is just kind of mediocre.
That is fair.
Don't hate me, people, for saying that.
No, I mean, someone that puts out books that quickly, and who was it that told us? Was it Sarah Damoff that told us that Frida McFadden voice
She voice
texts
records. Yeah.
for her books? Which makes sense then and she puts them out like every couple of months.
I think that was Jennifer Jabbely.
Oh, Jennifer Jabley
Or
did tell us
Jabaley.
that you're
Jabaley?
no,
Jabaley.
Jabley. It's okay.
Sorry, Jennifer.
I think yeah, it was definitely her, and I mean, that makes sense, and you know that that's not her name. When she does interviews, she only does them with her face covered.
Because Frida McFadden she's a doctor.
She's a doctor. That's her main job, and this is
And I'm
just for
like, I'm
fun.
so intrigued by all of that.
I know. I know. Like, I wonder who knows. I wonder someday we'll find out and because someone will leak it. Or maybe she doesn't tell any
Yeah,
of her maybe none of her coworkers even suspect that it's her.
maybe.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
So I'm going to talk about one of my favorite books of the year.
Ooh, is it the one that I'm reading right now?
It's the one that you're reading right now. So
Okay.
I'll keep it brief. But The Book Witch by Meg Schaefer. I received it as an ARC from NetGalley.
Mhm.
I read it in less than 24 hours. And this is like a Kindle book that I read.
And she
For
doesn't do
me,
Kindle books that much.
for me to read it in 24 hours, that's saying something. Like, I could not put this book down. I wish that you guys could read it right now. It doesn't come out till April. Go pre-order it. Pre-order it now. You'll thank me later.
Yes,
Like,
I agree.
it's so good. It's a book about books, and the main character is a book witch. She's a third generation book witch. And in this universe, a book witch is someone who goes into a story and fixes it. So there's bad guys in the world called burners that want to destroy books and ban books and get rid of storylines that they think aren't necessary to good literature. Like, it doesn't meet their standard, so they want to get
Mhm.
rid of the book altogether. So she goes into these books where they're trying to erase the story, and she fixes it and sets the story straight. And as she's in a book, she meets a person, and there are certain rules that the book witches have to live by. And this is her trying to decide which rules are worth bending, which rules are worth breaking, and finding out a lot of stuff about herself along the way. I'm trying not to give too much away,
I
but
know.
it was so good. I don't know if y'all have read Meg Schaefer books. She
Ugh.
wrote The Wishing Game
Mhm.
and The Lost Story.
Yes,
I absolutely loved The Wishing Game.
me too.
The Lost Story, I was like so on. But her books are so, like, they're just joyful and they're
They are.
hopeful. And I think it was like 79% into this book until 85%. I was crying, but it was crying. Like, I actually like literally laughed out loud at some of these parts of this book,
Aw.
and then I cried. But 79 to 85%, I was crying, but it was like this like good feeling of tears.
All right, good to know.
It was just really good. I cannot say enough. Go get
I
that
know I
book.
will hurry up and read it so we can talk about it on our road trip.
Yes.
So don't worry.
And I also read another really good book, Strangers in Time by David Baldacci, which
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever read any of his books before. And now I'm like, well, I need to go read his books.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I see his name everywhere.
And this was a World War II book.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm in. But it was based in England. So you're getting a different aspect of the war than most World War II books that are on the continent or in Japan. Like, it was just totally different than anything I'd read before, but it was talking about the London bombings. There's 3 different characters that you're following along. It wasn't hard to keep track of them. I listen to audio, and sometimes if there's too many characters, it can be hard to figure out who's who.
What
This
is
was
the
not.
name of this book?
It's Strangers in Time.
Strangers in Time. Okay.
And I kind of went into it without knowing what it was about. And just based on the name, I kept thinking that there was going to be some sort of like time jump, like, here's some like speculative fiction, and now we're going to, travel to a
Yeah.
different time. And I was like, is it going to happen now? It is not a time-based book. So don't expect time travel based on that title, but it was a really good book, and it was my favorite type of historical fiction where you learn something and you're like, "Oh, I didn't know about this
Mhm.
kind of aspect in time." And it talked about the Pied Piper scheme where they send all the children out to the country to keep them safe from the bombings. But there was just so much in this book that was really good. So I would
Very
highly
good.
recommend that one too.
Awesome. Okay, well, my next one, if you're watching, is this book,
Scary
Scary Stories
stories.
to Tell in the Dark. And I do have my copy from the 90s. And
I think this is amazing.
what is hysterical is apparently when I read it in pencil, I starred the ones that I really liked. But guess what? I basically starred every one. There's like only a couple I didn't. So I'm like, this really did not, these stars don't mean anything. It's kind of like when I give lots of 5 stars to books, I guess.
We were talking at the Neighbor Books book club about the books that we read as kids
Mhm.
really influence what we like now as adult readers. And some of us were like, "Oh, I don't know about that." And then we started thinking about it and we're like, well, yeah, I did like that type of book. And now I like that type of like, it's just
Yeah, that's
growing
funny.
up with it.
That is funny.
I
But
don't
I
think I had ever read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark until we
did
decided to read it.
your digital copy have like the fun pictures and stuff?
Yes, it did. I was happy about that because I know that's a big controversy because they changed the pictures
Yes, they did.
in the 2000s, I think it
Y
was.
Yes, because I bought apparently there were sequels to this, I had no idea, and I
Us
bought
80s babies, they traumatized.
they did, and I got, like, a 3-pack of the book, like, a thing of the 3 books for my son, and I gotta say, when this pictures don't look like this, it's not as scary when you read it.
I think the pictures are really what, like,
Makes it
makes
scary.
it scary. Since I hadn't read this as a kid, I read it in my current state of mind. I
Yes.
only gave it 3 stars.
I mean, that's reasonable. It's not that great, and but as a kid, like, it's very
But as a kid,
nostalgic.
I can see this being like, "Ooh, that's spooky." And
Mhm.
I can also see there were several things in here, like several of the stories, and he even said it at the end, like he got these from, like,
Urban legends.
urban legends and things like that. I'm like, "I've heard that one before, I've heard that one before."
Mhm.
And maybe that's why it wasn't as scary to me because those had been presented in different ways, in different
Mhm.
mediums.
Oh, no, that's reasonable. The one that I will okay, the ones that I always, like, think about still before even rereading this is May I Carry Your Basket, which is where it's like the head and the legs are in there, and
Mhm.
then they anyway. And then there's Room for One More, which is the elevator drop one. Then the one where, like, the couple spends the night and then they leave money as a thank you, and then people are like, "Nope, no one that burned down a long time ago," and they go back. And then the one where the girl spends the night or goes doesn't spend the night, she goes to the graveyard and they say put a knife in a grave, and she puts a knife through her dress and doesn't realize it, and, like, basically her heart stops. And that here's the picture from that, people watching, like, I remember this picture, like, it's so creepy. Like, that one those are all ones that real the Hook is one that definitely is an urban legend, the high
Mhm.
beams
Yep.
one,
The babysitter, the
the
call was from inside the
babysitter.
house.
Yes. Those are all from that.
The ones that got me, it was A New Horse,
Oh, yeah.
where there's, like, a witch that turns someone into a horse, and then the
Mhm.
guy hears the thing and then turns her into a horse, and then her husband finds her as a horse and
Mhm.
hammers horseshoes.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I was like, "Oh, that's gruesome."
yeah,
And
so
then
gruesome.
the Dead Man's Brains, where
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, "Here's a game you can play," but then they're talking about, like, "Oh, and also have everybody touch a raw liver."
Yeah, like, no
I was
thanks.
like, "What? What kind of party is this where you go touch?"
But I
Yeah.
remember we did do these at each other, and yeah, these I mean, I still love this. It's just it smells like the '90s. It really does. Like, there you it does, it smells like '90s books.
It's so
Just
funny.
saying.
my sister and I went to the used book fair at Neighbor Books, and we took my
Mhm.
nephew, and he walks in and he's like, "It smells so good in here."
He's been
And
raised well.
he's been raised well. And she was talking about how every time they go to read a book, they smell the book. And she's like, "I like old books. He likes new books." I was
That's
like, I
awesome.
don't think I have ever like I've smelled books, because I
Mhm.
think that's just a thing that readers do, right?
Yes.
We don't want to admit it maybe, but we smell our books. Um, but I was like, I don't think I've done that recently.
Oh,
Like
I
as an
do.
adult, I have
I
not like
do.
put my whole
Anytime.
face in there,
I like
but
to
now I
sniff
want
the
to.
top. Like, let me just, just go like this. And then I'm like, kind of flip through. This one doesn't smell very good. This one doesn't have a good book smell, unfortunately. Let me
Okay,
see.
so I'm smelling my book that was right next to me,
Okay.
Alchemized by Sinlin Yu, which I
This
picked
one
up, and
smells
it's on
better.
my November
Yep.
hopefuls. 1,000 pages
Lena in physical book copy?
in physical book copy. Can you believe I'm going to try to read a 1,000 page
I
book?
believe it. You can do it. I believe in you. You
I don't
got this,
know.
girl. You can do it. You can do it.
Just picking it up, like
Yeah.
I had gone to Neighbor Books and I almost bought it, and I was like, no, and then I went back later and I
And
got it.
bought it.
But yeah.
I love it. All right. Any more books you got?
So I have two more,
Okay, go for it. Do
and
both,
because
and I have.
I also read Scary Stories to Tell in the
Yes.
Dark. Another arc that I read was The Mad Wife, and this one, it's another one that was, I think they said it was a domestic thriller,
Okay.
but the twist in it
It's
did
good.
not see coming. And it's a 1950s housewife. She has one son. She has kind of like a past that is slowly revealed. And it was so funny. Her big claim to fame in her neighborhood is she's the queen of the Jello salad.
Well,
And
I don't
like
like
all
that.
the gross Jello salads, like if you've ever seen those recipes where it's like, here's some shredded carrots and some pineapple chunks and everything
Nope.
in gel, like that's what she's known for. And she molds them into different shapes. There's one that has fish in it. And so she molds
Oh
it
my
into a
gosh.
fish. And I was just
No.
like, oh my gosh.
No. No, thank
But
you.
I think it's kind of like horror, domestic thriller, whatever you want to label it as. It's kind of her unraveling. She gets
Okay.
pregnant, and she'd had like severe postpartum depression with the first baby.
Okay.
And she gets pregnant again, and she's not necessarily excited about it.
Okay.
And there's also the neighbors across the street, new neighbors move in, kind of around the same time as she's ending, like nearing the end of her pregnancy. And it's almost like her mind just starts to kind of go.
Okay.
But is it her mind that's going? Is it the neighbor's mind that's going? Is it like there's so much to unpack there? And she starts doing different things. And you're like, is she just having postpartum depression, anxiety? Like, what is going on with this woman? Because she's
Hmm.
making some choices that are not
Yeah.
what you would consider
Same.
normal. But at the same time, some of the things I remember whenever I had my second baby, Derek was working, like he was working 4 10-hour days because we were trying to save on childcare because
Mm-hmm.
childcare is stupid ridiculous.
It
So I
is.
was working from home one day with both kids at home, and he was working 4 10-hour days and then stayed home. So we only had to pay for 3 days of daycare. But it was very much like I would get home from work and do the whole evening routine, bedtime routine. The kids would be asleep before he came home. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what she was going through, and the same, I guess, trauma
Okay.
that comes with that, where you're just kind of, it was very relatable to me, I guess, kind of feeling her feelings of
Yeah.
like, okay, now I have to do this, and I'm expected to do like normal
Mm-hmm.
wife duties and
Yeah.
society duties and all this other stuff. So I enjoyed it. It was a 4-star read for me. I think that if you're into that kind of book, you'll really like it.
Okay, cool.
And then
Cool,
I
cool.
read another book that was so. It was 3
Hmm.
stars, The Executioner's 3.
Okay.
And I wanted to read it because the bio, or whatever you want to call it, had mentioned that it was kind of X-Files vibes. And it did have some X-Files vibes, like the truth is out
Okay.
there. But so some murders happen, and it's a YA book. Teenage protagonist is trying to figure out how the murders are happening. She's also in the middle of a prank war So she hears some screams, and so she calls 911. It's set in the 90s. The police come out to investigate, and they bust up the rival school football team for having a party and drinking.
Okay.
So they get arrested. And so then it becomes, now she's popular at her school because they all think that she was doing it as a prank because they have this prank
Gotcha.
war thing going on. Like, it was a little complicated, and some of it didn't quite fit as nicely as it should have.
Yeah.
I won't say I didn't enjoy reading it, because I
Mhm.
did enjoy it. I don't know if it was my favorite book.
Gotcha.
So it would almost be like a 2.75 for me, but I think that if
Okay.
you like that type of book, it had some horror aspects. It had some, you know, is this fact or is this fiction kind of blurred
Okay.
lines. I don't know if it was for me, though.
It sounds like it wasn't. And
No.
that's okay, because as
Yeah.
you like to remind me,
Not every book is for every person.
thank you, because I couldn't remember the exact wording and
You're
I
like,
was
what do
gonna
you
mess it
say?
up. That thing that you say, Lena.
Yes.
Well, I have 3 more that are gonna lump together
Okay.
because they're 3 R.L. Stine books that go together. They are the
Nice.
Fear Street saga books from the '90s, which are the prequels to Fear Street. And so it's The Betrayal, The Secret, and The Burning. I had started The Betrayal a couple weeks ago, and then last night just sat down and finished it. And then I read the other 2 because they're short. They're,
Hmm. Yeah.
like 150 pages each, and it's teenage pages, and the writing is, intended for like
Yes.
preteens, like middle school kids or something. And I really enjoyed them. They are probably, if you've never read them, they would not be so great. Like as I was reading, I was like, man, I ate up some of the romance in these, and they're
Yes.
just so stupid. Like it's completely stupid that
But romance for a middle schooler
is
is
different.
totally different than the
Yes.
hot and heavy, spicy, what we're used to
Well, you
now
know
as
what? These are
adults.
really actually, these are all really horror too, because there's a lot of death in them, which isn't uncommon in Fear Street novels. And
Hmm.
this, it's like the backstory of the Fear Street books, the street Fear Street. There was a family, the Fears, but it was spelled differently, and
Okay.
they were cursed by this other family, the Goods. And going back and forth, it was like
Okay.
sometimes
I'm
the
like, that's
Fears were
sounding familiar.
yeah, the Fears started out as bad guys, then the Goods, then it would go kind of back and forth, and then all along the way, there would be a time where a Good and a Fear would fall in love, and they would try to break the curse by getting married and joining their families, and then something would happen. And, I mean, there's a lot of death, it's sad, like, children dying too,
Oh,
and
geez. I
yeah.
kind of want to read them. Like,
They're
I kind of, yeah.
they used to be on Kindle Unlimited, but I had to buy them to
Mm.
read them, but I had bought them a few weeks ago when we were talking about doing an R.L. Stein episode that we ended
I
up
think
not
we should
doing.
just still do that just for next year.
Next year, we'll save it for next year. But it was fun to revisit, very nostalgic. I still give them
Hmm.
5 stars because as a kid, they were 5 stars. I had the physical copies, I read them over and over and over again and just loved them. But yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's all I have done literary lately.
What are you currently reading?
I am currently listening to Kingdom of Ash, and I am reading The Book Witch. What about
Oh,
you?
yay. I'm listening to Flashlight by Susan Choi. It's an
Okay.
18-hour book. I was like, good Lord. But so far it's been really interesting. It's talking about post-World War II, a family that's Korean.
Okay.
Um, it's like literally spring of 1945. They're Korean, but they had gone to Japan,
Mhm.
and now they're in Japan, and it's basically the start of North and South Korea. So
Wow.
that's really interesting, but then it jumps forward to, like, I'm guessing the 80s, the
Okay.
70s. The family, one of the characters that's a younger child at the
Mhm.
beginning of the book is an adult now. And so it's talking about him and then his daughter, and it's very family drama, but also historical. So that's good. And then I
Very cool.
just started on Kindle Waikoloa Warfare by Chris Wellert.
Did you get
I
an
got an
arc?
arc.
Look at you.
So it comes out December 1st, I believe. So
Okay.
I'm literally like 5% in, No major things have happened yet. um, yeah, I'm excited to read that one. So that's
Very
kind of like
cool.
my fun read to go along with my
Yes.
18-hour book.
Long for real. For real. Well,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
All right,
Well,
guys. Well, we said we were going to keep this short, but this is why we wanted to do Literary Lately as a whole episode,
mhm.
because it is longer.
It is. It is.
All right. Well, thank you
Well,
for joining us for our 1-year anniversary. It was fun to
woohoo.
talk about books on our 1-year anniversary.
It
Like, that's
was.
like what we've been reading, what we've been
Mhm.
liking, not liking. That's
Mhm.
always a fun topic. And I'm excited for this weekend. By the time that y'all are listening to this, we will have already been to the Texas Book Festival.
Yep.
It'll be in the rear view. I'm very excited for that, and we will be talking about that on our next episode and kind of giving you guys the rundown of what it's like to go to a big event like this, what we experienced, the kind of ins and outs if you're ever thinking about going.
Mhm.
We'll give you some pointers.
Yep. All right. Well, until next time, I guess. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to More Than a Book Club podcast. We are recorded and produced in McKinney, Texas.
Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.